Hello, my name is Lisa Lamb, and today I'm going to be presenting my dream wedding plans based on deBono's lateral thinking theory. I chose this theory in particular because it uses the 6 hats thinking method. That's when you wear all different colors of the rainbow and they're all different emotions, and I thought that would be the best to get a well-rounded view of the wedding planning process. I also thought it was cool because lateral thinking is so much different than vertical thinking, and in the chapter in Creative Communication by Paul Johnson and Michael Hackman, it actually lays out 10 critical differences between the two, and I've utilized that throughout my entire paper and now in my presentation. So first and foremost, the white hat. Here it is. The white hat is all about being neutral, logical. There's no emotion involved, there's no positivity or negativity. It's all about being straightforward and gathering information. And so this hat was actually super useful, seeing as there's a lot of information that goes into planning a wedding. I had actually, funny story, I'd been to Walmart and we were grocery shopping, Mike and I'd never thought about planning my wedding before, but then here we are, just got engaged, and I look over and there's a wedding magazine there, and I don't know why I've never noticed them before. But it was from The Knot, is what it's called, and finding that magazine actually changed my look at wedding planning a lot because it's been super helpful, both the magazines and the website. So my white hat has been utilized by their website, seeing as it comes up with a comprehensive checklist of all the things that you should do, but it's a lot. So it's broken down into categories like attendance and guests and money and venue, all different things like that. Aside from that, I've also reached out to a woman that plans events for a living. She works at Universal Studios Hollywood. Her name's Sel Hatch, and she actually told me that planning the budget is what shapes your entire wedding, which I thought was really helpful, seeing as your budget will help you know how many guests you can invite, which will tell you how big your venue has to be, which will tell you how much food you have to have, and so on and so on. So while wearing my white hat, I gathered tons of information, but again, there was no emotion or positive or negative involved, but lateral thinking was utilized in that I had to not really go 1, 2, 3 with my steps, but I could jump to step 6 and then back to step 4 and then jump to step 15 and not really have to worry about it because lateral thinking, that's okay. My next hat is my red hat. Sorry. Okay. The red hat is all about representing emotion and rage, anger, which is kind of not comfortable for me because I don't usually act that way or have rage or anything. But it is important, seeing as it legitimizes emotions, and that's an important part of problem solving. So I utilize that in that I was thinking about myself and how I realized that when I'm under stress, I get kind of control freaky, and I don't want to be a bridezilla or anything. So recognizing this red hat and recognizing the emotions involved in wedding planning was really vital to the process. I practiced lateral thinking while wearing this hat, and that I didn't just analyze problems, I purposely looked at assumptions that were already existing and I challenged them. So I went against what I usually do, like rage and anger, and I purposely sought out things that could go wrong or purposely aroused emotion to kind of prevent anything bad happening in the future. One example in the book that I thought was really great is that a cup of spilled coffee with a vertical thinker, all they want to think about is how they clean it up, how they can get the stain out, how they can make everything better again. But the lateral thinker, they say, oh, a cup of coffee spilled on the floor, that's a perfect way to trap flies, or a perfect way to, capture this or something like that. And I thought that was interesting, seeing as I can look at that with wedding planning, whether it be, let's say I call about a venue and the venue is unavailable, so I can either have a fit of rage and get upset and give up, or I can look at that as an opportunity to speak to the representative and say, okay, do you have any other openings? Do you have any suggestions about where I should go from here? And I might be able to find something better than what I found in the first place. So that's how I use lateral thinking in my lovely red hat here. My third hat is the black hat. Mine's more of a gray, but still. The black hat is very gloomy, very It's very logical, negative. It's definitely not what I usually think or how I work, but I understand that it's important, being as it points out things that could go wrong so that they don't go wrong on the big day. So for me, I was happy to think about it in terms of money and in terms of the venue and in terms of the guest list, seeing as those are three things that I feel can have the most potential for getting messed up. And I'd rather figure it out while I'm planning rather than figure it out on the big day. So that's how I utilize the black hat. And again, it helps with lateral thinking, seeing as I was able to foresee rather than just stay in my ways. Skipping to the yellow hat now. It's more of a tan, but still. Yellow is all about being happy and having a sunny and positive outlook. It's logical yet positive, and I'm naturally inclined to think this way, which made it fun, but it's all about generating positive ideas and linking your dreams and your visions together. The black and yellow, as opposite as they may seem, they go hand in hand, seeing as they balance each other out. So I'm happy that I did utilize the importance of the black hat, because I could just go crazy with positiveness and then not recognize all the bad things like the black hat helped me do. In wearing the the yellow hat, I utilized lateral thinking, and that I didn't block off any pathways like vertical thinking would. I just kept pushing forward with all this positive energy and positive fun ideas. And that's one thing that the book lays out as one of the critical differences between the two thinking processes. I also utilized it in that I didn't have to be correct in every single step. I don't have to worry about every step being perfect, which is usually how I like to think, but as long as the conclusion is right, that's all I really need to worry about as far as lateral thinking goes. My next step, or next hat, is the green hat. I don't have a green hat, so I have a green shirt, and I'm just going to wrap it around. Voila. Beautiful. The green hat is actually one I really like because it's all about creative, generative thinking. I feel so silly. And you're searching for alternatives and generating new ideas. I like this because I feel like a wedding is all about making things personal and putting your creativity and good ideas to use. So a couple of examples of how Mike and I have, spoken and coming up with ideas. We both know that we would like a country club type venue or an outdoor wedding, but we do realize, little black hat mentality, we realize it could rain, so that's something to keep in mind. So we would think like a tent or something just to foresee the future. We also figure out our colors. We like pomegranate, so it's more of a dark reds and light pinks and dark browns and creamy colors all mixed together. So it'll be a very like nature-esque autumn vibe, which is really nice. We also have a very similar taste in music. Mike actually proposed to me with one of our favorite songs, our favorite band songs playing. So we'll keep the music along those lines with like splashes of 1950s, seeing as we both like that as well. And then lateral thinking is used in this on top of all the ideas I've just shared, in that it's more about generating ideas rather than just thinking selectively. It's about the richness of ideas, and that's what I really appreciate about this hat as well. Last but not least, the blue hat. Oh goodness. The blue hat is all about coming up with summaries and concluding everything, being very cool, calm, and collected, and concluding all of the thoughts. And I thought that was really appropriate, seeing as it is the last hat that I do wear. On theknot.com, actually, it has a ton of ideas on how to plan things. I'm also kind of naturally inclined to be very administrative and organized, so that's a really easy hat for me to wear. But this blue hat kind of makes me feel confident in where I stand as far as planning a wedding. Starting back with the white hat, I was full of anxiety at this huge task I had in front of me. And then as the hats went on and I kept switching, I kept getting more and more confident in my ability. And so that's why I feel this blue hat has really cooled and calmed me down. Other than that, that is how I have planned my wedding with deBono's creative lateral thinking process. Thank you so much for your time.